So today's lecture is about the FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization of the United States, and especially very thanks for Mahula again, who helped me. So it's the organization which is was recognized by us. So it's the main organization of the food and agriculture, right? So what is this organization? So it's the intergovernmental organization that's a special unit of United States Nations that deals with the problems of hunger and the development organization of activities that ensure that food independence of country. Yeah. So as we mentioned before, food safety and food security. So what is the food safety? It's the all of the parameters which is providing safe food. But food security, it's the dealing with the problem of the hunger and the activities which ensure of the independence of the food of the country. Okay. So of course, all of countries should have own these authorities as a ministry, as an organization, and then it's the intergovernmental organization which is provided this. Okay. So as a map of hunger from the 2014, you can see in this map. So also there is a website of this organization. Follow and see all of the information what you needed. Okay. And then FAO, it's the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United States. The role of is to carry out activities aimed at eradicating hunger and ensuring that food is available to everyone on the planet as a basis for full life. Okay, so when we talk about the organization which is provided international standards as ISO, so it was for the countries voluntary participating. But what about the ensuring? What's the eradicating of the hunger? Of course, it could be the another force of the function. And what about the function of this organization? So function is reducing the level of poverty in agriculture areas and providing social protection and necessary resource and the job creation and inhabitants these areas carrying out joint activities with regional state bodies and aimed at creating food programs. Okay. So we are developing, every country develop its own strategies how to ensure and how to provide food security. So it's the protecting with the hunger and etc. And then information promotion of the problems of the food shortage and rational use natural resources through conferences, roundtables, etc. So it's the which we are using to develop and protect. Okay, so it's the range of the public contributing of the sustainable development, agriculture, people with so the impact of negative factors of natural and man-made natural that violate the food security system of state coordination and collaboration of agriculture development. So there is a lot of organization which is participate in this case. So Of course, all of the food protection, it is uh, consists of this those parameters. So in these parameters have their own organization, which is have the evaluation of this programs, right? So if you had about the health, so there is a World Health Organization, International Atomic Energy Agency, etc. For the security, also we have our own World Food Program, UNESCO, International Monetary Fund, etc. So all of this organization can participate uh, from own protecting, just aimed by this program. Okay. So main areas of working with the consolidating with this organization, it could be from first, it's providing free access to information and contributing to the sustainable development of agriculture sector. So the experience and the high professionalism of the FAO specialists working in the various fields of science, from the social and economic research to agriculture, in agro-industrial research, which allows us to collect the most comprehensive and useful information for further dissemination and implementation. So among the interested organizations, government bodies, and private firms. Second is the solving agriculture issues at the government level. So it's the main organization specializing on the planning, development, and implementation fundamental principle of security, and freely shares its experience and provides recommendation to governments on effective economic development of agro-industrial sectors. So financing of agriculture development programs and development of national legislation. Yeah, so uh, based on these principles of this organization, all of the countries can develop own strategy or own standards, which is supported this issue as a solving. Next is development of small private farms supported by government agencies. What? So the negotiation between representative of the countries with the different levels of the economic development and interested companies, with the aim investing in farm enterprises for sustainable development of food industry and providing service and providing technical support. And next is exchange of information and experience. It's very important. So you can just take the experience of the another countries, and then use it for own experiments, right? So it's the help to thousands of public and private sectors, entities in many countries in the world. So it's the decades exchange of the information. So it's the round table conference and etc. So it's the kind of the other exchanging with the corporation by the German, with the Danish, European Unions, and it's the about how to reach in for intervention in cereal campaign. Okay, so it's the supported for the developed countries, for developing countries. And next is providing assistance to countries to prevent possible risks. Okay, so uh, it's shortly about uh, how to fight treatment of the as a shortage of the food. in the developing countries. So it's the kind of the sources. So all of this organization should share with the information when they have the as a monitoring and given the as a advice. Okay, so it's the on own countries if they will be take it recommendation or not. So once every 2 years, with the participation of the delegate from each participating countries is associate members, the FAO conference is held. So where global issues of food security protection in states are considered. So the results of FAO activities are summed up, and the Director General with 4 years mandate and members of council are elected, and budget for work program are approved. So it's funded membership fees, the amount of the which they determine the conference for each country separately. Okay. So for ISO countries also it was membership of the fees, the strategy of the developing this organization, and how to use the sources of this organization. And next is the Council of Executive Body of the conference. It's 5 times for 24 months and consists of representatives of the 49 countries. They are electing for 3 years. It's the kind of the organizational tasks. So this organization consists from the 194 countries, including Ukraine, which have the status of full members, to 2 associate members of the Tuvalu Faroe Islands, and 1 organization that is also member of FAO, so the European Union. So as you can see, we are also the member of this organization. So the World Soil Day it's supported by Federal Food and Agriculture Organization, and now we will continue about our lecture about the microbiological part, and it will be end of the recipe. Okay. So as we understand, all these organizations have their own experience or shared with the experience of the all of the world with the countries, and providing the promote of the activities. Okay. So as a hazard analysis, we are defined that hazards are biological, chemical, and physical agents or conditions of food with the potential cause and adverse health effect, right? So it's the sanitary risk. We consist of all of these parameters, and then biological, it will be more microbes, parasites, viruses, and etc. So as an effect of this responsible of foodborne disease, so the biological hazards such as microbe, virus, parasites are responsible for foodborne disease, and parasites can hurt animals as well as also human, right? So they can have short or long term of the toxicity. So as agents, it's the kind of the pathogen microbes, and the other parasites which has also influence on the organism of the animal and the human. So from about the chemical physical, we talk about when we had chemical factors, chemical hazards. So as a biological hazards, it's the contamination come very often from the environment terms. So it's the tools, raw materials, walls of premises, pests, also the contamination by them. So it's the cross contamination or the strike contamination. So it will be depend on their sources, right? So when we are looking for these hazards, of course, we will take in account all of the operations which is taken in this. So the methodology, in order to avoid missing some causes of hazard, first is draft of the process, flow, validating on the on site, and it's much better if you do this exercise with a HASB team, and the people should be familiar with this process. Yeah, so at the first stage, if it is about the cleaning, so of course you will have with the employees who has experiences with this, and the next operation, if it's about the technology process, of course you will have deal with the technologist. So with the processing and the parameters, all of this can be we can defined as a hazard. So if it is about microbiological, it's mold, so M. If it's contaminated, so C. So then you can evaluate how it is, if it is a critical control point or just a control point. Okay, so you are giving some points. So hazard severity and likelihood, its accuracy, the final product, and probability of non-detection, and criticality index. So you are giving each of the three parameters rank from the 0 to 5. 1 is being severity of likelihood, occurrence, and probability non-detection. So 5 being high for 3 parameters, right? So then you can calculate the criticity. It will be depend on the parameters and the causes of the hazards. Okay, thank you. It's that all for the today. It stays just 1 minute. I don't know. It was planned for the 40 minutes. Okay, I think you can find out it's the video on the YouTube, and follow if you had any disability with the connection. Okay. Okay. See you on the practical lesson, and do all of the information provide.